Cleveland Browns, top 3 players. Look at that, perfect.
Smooth.
Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. That's who Trevor selected. I think Myles Garrett, absolutely. The other two, worthwhile discussion between Zadarius Smith, JOK, and then guys like Denzel Ward, Amari Cooper, and Nick Chubb.
Would you throw Wyatt Teller into that conversation as well?
Maybe a Wyatt Teller in there.
Honestly, Amari
Joel
Cooper should be in.
at this point.
Yeah.
I'd probably go Cooper maybe over Zadarius Smith.
I think Cooper, both guards. Nick Chubb has to have an asterisk next to him because of the injury. You just don't know what he is anymore because that injury was so devastating.
Another one, a year from now, he's absolutely in the top.
A year ago, he would have been number 2 without question, I think. It would have been Myles Garrett number 1, Nick Chubb unquestionably number 2, and then we're talking about the third guy.
It's an interesting difference of conversation that we're having with the Browns and the Bills, where the Bills, it was like Josh Allen, and then I don't really know who these other guys are. The Browns have a legitimate 6 players that could be in this top 3 conversation, none of which is the quarterback, by the way. So that's the difference. Doesn't mean the Browns are going to be better, but it comes back to all year we're saying the depth that Cleveland has built is really impressive.
And the quarterback himself has the potential. Like if you got the version of Deshaun Watson, when is it, 2020?
Yes.
Like whatever that last version where he was playing at that elite level. I mean, he would be in that unquestionably. Theoretically, that guy is still there. We just haven't seen him for a few years.
Justin Jefferson's rookie season was the last time Deshaun Watson was good.
5th wide receiver taken, by the way. He ends up the best paid wide receiver in NFL history. So this whole world of, hey, got to get the guy in the draft that you think, you don't know.
Anyway, Amari Cooper maybe battling with and I love JOK. I think Zadarius Smith, he's heading into his 10th season. 10-year player. He has been a fantastic complement to Myles Garrett. Remember, they brought him in before last season. The 2022 Browns were not rushing the passer well enough. It was Myles Garrett and a little bit of Jadeveon Clowney, and they needed an overhaul on the defensive line. And Zadarius Smith was a huge part of that. He is not really slowed down, so I don't want to take anything away from Zadarius. 83 grades each of the last 2 seasons, one with the Vikings, one with the Browns. He's still very, very good. JOK, a little bit younger. Still probably room to improve, but there's a lot of potential in JOK's game, and I love what he brings to the table, his athleticism and versatility. But I think Amari Cooper's consistency would probably bump him up a little bit higher for me.
Yeah, I think Cooper is an underrated wide receiver in the NFL. He feels like a guy that a little bit like that middle-tier quarterback contract we always talk about, where Amari Cooper makes every offense he's on immediately better. He's a really good player. He wins at all levels of the field. He earns a big money, not a Justin Jefferson deal, but he earns a big money, reasonably top of the market quarterback or wide receiver contract extension. And then a year or 2 into that, teams start looking at the deal and looking at Cooper and being like, is he really worth that money? And they move on from him, right? But he's worth it. You might start looking at it and eventually getting annoyed, but he earned that deal. He is worth that money. I don't know. It seems, I think we focus too much on what separates Amari Cooper from Justin Jefferson instead of just how good Amari Cooper is. Forget placing him in context relative to the best wide receiver in the NFL. Just appreciate what he's doing for you.
The other guy that I think, deserves more consideration here, I mean, you can only pick 3, but Denzel Ward, a bit of a subpar year in 2022, bounced back better last season, and just the totality of Ward's career since 2018, he's been very consistent.
Yeah,
I think missed a ton of time. He missed some time last year, but never played fewer than 700 snaps and good, solid coverage player.
Yeah, I think for corners, you sort of have to bear in mind the reality of the position. You know what I mean? The volatility, the
if you're just looking at production, but we're talking about this theoretical level of good.
That's what I mean.
Of which Denzel Ward needs to be up there.
When you're sort of debating, do you put a corner versus any other position? You just have to bear in mind the inherent volatility and inconsistency at that position. So you can, but I think it would be a mistake to sort of look at one relative down year for a corner and be like, well, he's not as good as the corresponding wide receiver or guard or whatever. It's just an inherently more volatile, inconsistent position.
And then just Nick Chubb appreciation. The guy's been so good. Big play threat. I mean, I always talk about Saquon Barkley as this big play threat. Hey, if you give him the run blocking, he'll take it to the house. Nick Chubb is kind of like that, but he also adds that element of he's going to maximize bad run blocking as well. So Nick Chubb has just been, I don't want to say underrated. I think we rate him properly, and a lot of people realize when he's healthy, he's unbelievable. But top 3 type of running back when he's been healthy the last 5-6 years.
I really hope he gets back to something like 100%. I mean, that was such a devastating knee injury. It's the type, I mean, I don't want to try to choose your words carefully. It's the type of knee injury that has permanently altered careers, where guys have come back, but they haven't been the same player since. Just hope that isn't the case for Nick Chubb, because he's a special running back.